The Kyiv team gained access to the state-owned Russian database of children whom Moscow illegally removed from the territories of Ukraine temporarily occupied by the Russian army. The registry contains tens of thousands of questionnaires with a detailed dossier on each child. They contain information about the name, age, Ukrainian documents, real estate recorded on the child, and even about the color of the eyes and hair. There are also psychological characteristics. The data was handed over to Ukrainian law enforcement officers.
The information contained in the system is of exceptional value in the search for children taken out of the occupied Donetsk region. It contains a register of adopted children as well as those who can be adopted, a register of candidates for adoption, and a register of guardians and caregivers. Separately, there is also information about children who find themselves in difficult life circumstances. And most importantly, the register of children who, for various reasons, were taken out of the occupied part of the Donetsk region from a statement on the Kyiv.org team website.
This information base is evidence of the Kremlin's involvement in the forced deportation of Ukrainian children, but most importantly, it will help Kyiv return them home. Third countries could also contribute to this process, the Verkhovna Rada Commissioner for Human Rights believes, but Moscow blocks such initiatives.
Нам треба третя сторона як арбітр.
We need a third party as an arbiter. When the Russians can accuse us that, for example, we did not submit documents, did not provide lists, we cannot confirm that these are Ukrainian children or that we refuse the process. We need a third party that will monitor everything and can always confirm exactly the position of Ukraine, that we are ready to do everything through third countries, provide lists, any evidence, create any logistical mechanisms for the return of our citizens.
After a year and a half of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine, it is impossible to deny that the Kremlin organized genocide in the temporarily occupied territories, according to the Office of the Commissioner for Human Rights of the Verkhovna Rada. If the organizers and perpetrators of international crimes are not brought to justice, other peoples may face similar deportation.
Ми повинні створювати міжнародні
We must create international mechanisms as well as domestic mechanisms for documenting such crime. Secondly, we must finally launch an international toolkit for condemning and punishing the Russian Federation. For us, the best way out is to create a separate tribunal. And thirdly, and most importantly, we need an understanding from the international community that the issue of returning Ukrainian children is not only a matter for Ukraine. Because today Ukrainian children are in such a situation, and tomorrow anyone on the territory of this planet.
The return of little Ukrainians from the Russian Federation is one of the most discussed topics in the world. The Pope often devotes his sermons to Ukraine.
Anche all'intercessione di San Bartolomeo.
Brothers and sisters, let us pray for our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. They are suffering so much. The war is cruel. So many children are missing. So many people have been killed. Please pray for them and don't forget the martyr, Ukraine.
Recently, U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, met with the parents of illegally deported Ukrainian children. The United States is actively working to bring Russian war criminals to justice.
We are also working with nations everywhere to hold Russian forces accountable for the war crimes and other atrocities they have committed in Ukraine. That includes the forcible removal of thousands of Ukrainian children to Russia, and today we are announcing new sanctions to hold those responsible for these forced transfers and deportations to account, and to demand that Ukrainian children be returned to their families. From a message on the website of the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine.
Washington also introduced a new restriction against 11 Russian citizens involved in the illegal deportation of Ukrainian kids. The list also includes a legal entity, the Artek International Children's Center. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Danilo Kobza, UATV News.